Could we have a roll call?
Yes. Ms. Carbano?
Here.
Mr. Fortier?
Here.
Mr. Monero? Do we know if he's excused?
I'm sorry?
Do we know if Mr. Monero is excused?
He was scheduled to be here, is what he told me. He may just be running a little late.
Okay.
Rain.
Yeah.
All right. Mr. Hosey?
Here.
Mr. Crockett?
I'm here.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. Now we'll have an approval of the minutes from our last meeting, which was January 23rd.
I move to accept the minutes as they've been presented.
I'll second that. Announcements, do we have any? No. Old business, none.
We have to vote.
Oh, sorry.
We have to vote on that. You've seconded the motion, and now it has to be voted on.
Oh. Okay. Well, I guess we have to vote on whether to accept the minutes. A roll call, please.
Ms. Carbano?
Yes?
Mr. Fortier?
Yes.
Mr. Hosey?
Yes.
Mr. Crockett?
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you. There's no old business, so we'll go on to new business. Wayne, I guess you will be presenting.
Yes. Tonight we have one case. It's a renewal of a certificate, and this is in the matter of Mr. Donald R. Heaton. He's a drywall contractor with a local license number 348. Mr. Heaton is seeking board approval to reinstate his license that expired on 9/30/2011. The applicable code section from the City Code of Ordinances is Section 26-168C of the City Code of Ordinances, and states it's a certificate which is inoperative because of failure to renew shall be restored on payment of the proper renewal fee. If the application for restoration is not made before the beginning of the next fiscal year of the city, the fee for restoration shall be double the original renewal fee. In addition, the board may require re-examination of the applicant. A certificate which is not renewed within 3 full years after expiration may not be renewed, restored, or reinstated thereafter except by reapplication and re-examination. We've had cases like this before. In the case where it's been more than 3 years, we've brought the case to the board to find out what your pleasure is as to whether you want them to take a re-examination, or if for just cause they could be reinstated without taking re-examination.
Okay. Anyone have any questions?
Yeah, I have a couple. Wayne, it's been since 2011, correct?
Yes.
Is there any continuing education that's attached with this? Probably not.
No, again, this is a local license, and there isn't any continuing education requirements. Only for state certified.
Was there any fees or time or anything that your office incurred from the lapse of time from 11 to today? The fees that would to bring him current, taking into account the $75 per year that the renewal would be. If you wait over a year, it's $75 to bring it up. So I believe we have 6 years at $75, plus the current year of $60 to bring him into full compliance. The total amount would be $510. Okay, I guess I probably wasn't clear. What I'm thinking is, while he was not doing anything since 2011,
right?
Did you have to do anything regarding this gentleman?
We probably sent him out some renewal notices until we didn't get a response. Usually it's about 3 years that we go send renewal notices, and after that point, according with the ordinance, we just stopped sending out the notices. So other than that, no.
Okay.
And had he wanted to go on, he wanted to go inactive, that's a $10 fee per year, correct?
Correct.
Okay.
If they want to just go on an inactive status, they could pay the $10 a year. That way they don't lose their
Absolutely,
their licensing privilege.
that's what I thought. It would have been much easier for him. Okay. I guess we'll have Mr. Heaton. Anybody else have any questions for Wayne anymore?
I don't.
No.
No? Okay. We'll have Mr. Heaton come up, please. State your name, address for the record.
My name's Donald R. Heaton, 917 Carnation Drive, Sebastian.
Carnation Drive, I'm sorry. Say what you said? Okay. Okay. Do you, what have you been doing since 2011?
At 2011, right after that, I didn't hardly do anything. I was so upset with the economy. If you read my letter, you would understand what I went through. And then my wife passed away. And then after that, I got so discouraged that I went ahead and sold my home. And so as the economy started coming back, and some of the guys that worked for me before was wanting to know when I was going to get back in business, I said, well, I'll look into it. And 2.5 months ago, when I wrote the letter, that's what I've been hoping, that I could get back into the drywall business. For one thing, I am bored. I want to get out and do things. You may not realize it, but in about 5 or 6 days, I'll be 80 years old. And I just do not want to sit home. I have the money to operate on. I'm a lot more cautious than people beating me out of money and sending me 1099s for $1,200,000 from Streamline Construction out of Fort Pierce. And those things just got me so upset that I just couldn't even think straight. After 50 years of being in the business, my life savings, among other things other than the drywall business, just went down. My wife passed, and I was just sat back. Well, I'm tired of sitting back and doing anything. I had my first license approved here 30 years ago, here in Sebastian. I have it right there in my folder. And the RX number, I never had a complaint ever in the 26 years that I did my drywall work. I was, again, through my letter, same bank, same workman's comp, general liability for over 20 years until they made the changes. And so I feel very special as a contractor knowing that the people that worked for me before is wanting me to get back in business. And I never give not one person a bad check, not one. So I feel honored to get back in the business again through the Sebastian license.
I'll open now for questions.
Yeah, this
I have a
gentleman
question.
does, this gentleman.
Okay. Go ahead.
Do you want to take the exam again?
That is the problem. I took the exam the 3rd time before I barely passed it. And it's very expensive to go through all that again.
Well, you heard, Ms. Jesselton, what the number is to pay to possibly get your license back. Are you in a position to put, what, $500 and some dollars, is it?
$510.
$510.
You want it right now?
You got enough to do that?
I've got enough to pay that and get back in business and not ask nobody for nothing.
and get insurance and so forth.
Absolutely.
And you've been doing this for what, 50-some years?
51 years.
You ought to know how to do it by now.
Well, then I worked in the field for 23 years for other people. The last 28, I didn't have to work labor because I was the boss. But
I don't
my
have any
job-
more questions.
My job was to make sure that the framing, the plumbing, the walls were straight, ready to go before I put my men in there. That was my job. And my job was to collect the money and pay my men.
Thank you,
So-
sir.
Okay. Enough's enough, right? Okay.
Okay, anyone else, excuse me, sir, we're not finished with you yet. Anyone else have questions?
I don't think I have
Mr.
any
Fournier?
questions. No, I don't think I have questions.
No? No questions? Well, then I guess, we'll, do you have anything to summarize, Wayne?
Sure, I can. Mr. Heaton's here tonight just to see if he can get his license reinstated. As he stated, he was originally licensed in 1988 from the Sebastian Construction Board. He had his license. Due to circumstances, he let it lapse. He's here tonight to see if he can get it reinstated without taking reexamination.
Anyone have anything to ask of either party? Okay, then I'd like to call for a motion.
I'll make a motion that he be granted his license if he pays the $510.
$10.
Very well.
How about a second? Does anyone want to
Well,
second that?
yeah, we need a second, then I want to discuss, but yeah. I second it.
You second it, okay.
And now we can have discussion. So don't you think it might be a little bit better to do 3 years of like he was active and then the 10 and 10 for the other 2 if it was 5, as there was no effort by the building department? I mean, I agree with what you're saying. I just don't understand why we would go the full.
Because that's what the code of ordinance says.
Well, I get that, but I think we have the
Say
autonomy.
that, would you say that again? I didn't quite hear.
Yeah, I'm just wondering if there'd be more value in 3 years where they were writing letters, the building department, like he was active. We would charge the full of what he was active for that. But then nothing happened at the building department. And I understand 2011 and what happened with the economy, and anybody in construction knows that. So maybe
You
that
and
would
me
be the 10 and 10. So it'd be like, I think it's 75, you said 75, 75, 75,
Right.
and then 10 and 10. And then I do agree with not.
That'd be fine with me. I'd be happy to modify the motion to reflect that.
Yeah, you don't have to, but I'm just.
But would we have to change the code of ordinances to do that?
No, these fees are based on what our ordinance says as far as the yearly fee. And what we've done in the past is, for every year that he's been late, we've charged the 75. But I don't think that, in my opinion, that I don't think that the board is doing anything incorrect if they just, like you said, there isn't any expense that was incurred by the building department those 3 years. Maybe we sent out renewal notices. If you want to reduce the fee, I think it's well within your right to do so. The only thing I would say is if you wanted to do those 3 years at 75 each, it'd still be the current year of 17, 18 of 60 that would have to.
Absolutely, as the aggregate, whatever it
Right.
comes up to, but you saw my methodology there.
Right.
Whatever the aggregate comes up to.
That's fine with me.
Okay.
I figure the years he's been in the business, he deserves to have a license and do it if he wants to stay in it. I was a building inspector until I was 85. I know what it feels to get that back in business.
Absolutely, because, I mean, drywall, I mean, it really doesn't change much, and he obviously knows it, so.
It used to take maybe a couple of $1,000s to do a home. Now it's about 4 to 5,000.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's a big difference to
Yeah,
me.
yeah, the prices has changed, yes.
Oh,
but
yeah.
The methodology is pretty much the same, yeah.
Just for the board's information, so we're talking 3 years at 75 each year plus the 60, the current year it's $285.
And the 2 years, because it wasn't
At
at 5
10.
total?
At 10.
Whatever it is for the remaining at $10, because he should have paid that. So he should have
Well, I
to
think
pay
it's
that.
either or. Either you pay the 75 because you didn't renew. If you paid the 10, then you wouldn't have to.
Yeah, but
It's either one or the other.
Yeah, but how many years has he actually, it's been since 2011? Which means that after 3 years, if your department no longer was doing anything, there's years of $10 he should have paid.
Okay.
To get what we're about to give him.
I didn't understand what you were
But
saying.
that was his choice.
There was a total of 6 years, and then the current year of $60. So if you want to say for the, beyond those first 3 years at 75, then 10 each, that would be $30 more,
That's what I was proposing, plus the current.
right?
So the whole aggregate,
315,
What's the whole thing come to?
315.
350.
That's fine with me.
Okay.
We have a motion and a
yes.
second.
Well, we need to call for a new motion because of the changes.
You don't allow him to amend? He amended it.
I think you can amend the
I do believe
existing
you
motion to, instead of
Okay.
$510,
I'm sorry,
make it 315.
I don't seem to be doing it right, so. Okay, we'll go for an amended motion, changing the rates for Mr. Heaton to 3 years at $75, 2 years at $10, and 1 year at $60. A total of $305.
No,
No.
I think we have that wrong. I think it's 3 years at 75, 3
Right.
years at 10, and the current year is 60.
60, yeah. 3 times 75 is 225, isn't it?
Right, so
2 times 10 is 20, and 1 times 6 is 60.
It would be 3 times 10.
No, there's only 6 years, he said, involved.
But, and the current.
Well, I had the current, so 3 times 10? Okay, then we're okay. I'm sorry. Okay. I guess we want to amend the amount to be paid by Mr. Heaton to $315. Now, I'd like a motion.
Well,
Motion's been made to that effect, yes.
yeah, he's already amended it, so we would vote.
I need the vote after the amendment. Okay, we'll call for a vote. Any other questions? Okay, do we have a second on that motion, or we just go with the old ones?
It's already been seconded, so at this point, there is we would vote on the amended motion.
Okay, I'd like a vote on the amendment to the motion.
Do you want a roll call vote? Ms. Carbano?
I don't know if that's the way I have to do it. Do I have to do it that way, or do you want me to do it a different way?
Well,
roll call.
it would have to be roll call, you'd have to.
Yeah, okay,
Ms. Carbano?
no.
Mr. Fortier?
Yes.
Mr. Hosey?
Yes.
And Mr. Crockett?
Yes.
3 yes, 1 no, motion carries.
Okay, yeah, you'll just have to go in and see the people at the building department tomorrow, and everything should be okay.
Thank you.
Good luck.
Yes, good luck. Okay. Building official matters, you're going to update us on the amendment to the ordinance for fire protection and prevention.
Yes, I just wanted to bring back to you the status of the presentation that I brought to the board back in January, where we talked about our proposed changes to Chapter 42 of our City Code of Ordinances for fire prevention protection. The ordinance went before council on March 14th, 2018. The ordinance was approved. And what that does is amended that chapter, and made it, revisions to it, and established the City of Sebastian's Fire Marshal's Office. In addition, and just to clarify, the Fire Marshal's Office is to conduct plan review and inspections, including annual inspections as needed. And one of the things that was modified that we talked about here is we were going to do special events. That was in the first reading. After the first reading, we had a meeting with county administrator, fire chief, the county attorney, met with our staff, our city manager, our county attorney, our city attorney, I'm sorry, and myself. And that was one of the things that was discussed, that we took into consideration, that special events are probably best left up to the Indian River County Fire Bureau to handle. That really wasn't our goal. Our goal is to do inspections and plan review. So we did take that out of the ordinance for second readings. That was really the only change from what you folks saw here. So that all went very well. We also got our contract with Safe Build approved. And that's the company that we're using to offer us assistance as needed in performing the fire marshal duties. So I just wanted to bring you up to date and thank you for your part in this, recommending to council for approval.
When will the change take place?
It already has. Yeah,
Beg pardon?
the second ordinance, or the second reading of the ordinance was March 14th, so that was, the effective date was March 15th.
So it's
very
in
next day.
It's in being that done
Yes.
now? That's good.
Right.
Good.
Thank you. That's all I have.
All you have? Okay.
We have.
Do we have any board matters? None. Attorney matters? None. 15 minutes to the public?
Where are all those?
I know, they're home.
Where is the public?
They're not getting wet.
Staying dry.
Okay, I'm going to adjourn this meeting at 6:23.